Tandem Nomads, episode 192. 5 years. It has been 5 years since the first episode of Tandem Nomads was launched. Today, I want to thank you and share with you my 5 big lessons of the past years, as well as offer you a great little surprise to celebrate with you, but also celebrate you. Hello, Nomad Nation. Welcome to Tandem Nomads, the podcast show and entrepreneurship platform where you can find great inspiration and tips to grow a successful portable business and thrive in your global nomadic life. This is your host, Emel Dereki. I cannot believe that 5 years have been passing by since the first episode of Tandem Nomads. What a journey and what a transformation. I can barely recognize the person I am today compared to 5 years ago, and the show that is today compares to 5 years ago. I am so grateful, Nomad Nation, to all of you who have been listening for a long time. And if you just are tuning in for the first time, or this is your first couple episodes, welcome to this community of the Nomad Nation, and thank you for being here. Today I will tell you a little bit about the story behind Tandem Nomads and how it all started and where it is today and where I'm hoping to take it. But I will also share with you the 5 lessons that I've learned in the past 5 years along this journey. And hopefully it will help you in your journey as well. And honestly, if I had somebody who could just sit down with me 5 years ago and tell me what I'm about to tell you, I think that my journey would have been so much easier. So I really want to share that with you. But before I go any further, and I promise myself that I will not get emotional, but I'm holding up my tears right now because my heart is full of gratitude right now. I have a lot of people to thank, and I will not list them all. But I would really like to start by you, Nomad Nation, you who have been listening to every episode or most of them, or even if it's just a couple of them. Just the fact that you take the time to listen to this podcast and to learn from it and to be part of this community means the world to me. I know how much there is out there nowadays, and it is very hard to really stick to one type of content or keep going back to the same podcast, for instance. I know what it is because I'm in your shoes as well. So the fact that you're taking, even if it's just one episode, the time to listen means the world to me. And I know that a lot of you out there have been part of this journey since the beginning and have been listening to this episode on a regular basis, and I can't tell you how grateful I am to you. The only reason I kept going with this episode is by seeing your feedbacks, receiving your emails, your reviews, and also simply seeing how many of you are actually downloading this podcast episodes and listening to them. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be part of your journey. And, it always makes me smile when some of you share with me what you're doing when you're listening to these podcast episodes. But I know a lot of you are also listening to this episode while on your ride or commuting. I'm so happy to be able to accompany you during these times. And hopefully you are getting all the inspiration and support you need along the way. And again, thank you so much for taking me along your journey and allowing me to be part of this adventure with you. So before I continue thanking all the people I want to thank, I want to especially celebrate you, Nomad Nation. I want to show you how grateful I am for you. So I decided to put in a lucky draw, and the winner will be winning a free coaching session with me. So all you have to do is very simple, is to email me at the email address connect@tandemnomads.com and share with me that you're interested to be entered in the lucky draw. But I would also love to hear from you what has been your biggest takeaway from this podcast show. I love connecting with you. I love hearing from you. So don't hesitate to reach out, and I will randomly pick one person who will win a free marketing coaching session with me. So the email address is connect@tandemnomads.com. In order to enter this lucky draw, you need to make sure to email me before December 1st. So December 1st, 2020 is the deadline to be part of this lucky draw. And I will be selecting 1 to 3 people who will be winning this free session. It will really depend on how many people will apply for it. If I see that there's a large number, I will increase it to 3 winners so that there can be as many chances for you as possible to win this lucky draw. And here is another way I want to celebrate you. So this is completely experimental, but I realized that it might be a really fun way to connect with you also outside of this podcast show and celebrate you, but also help you to promote you. So I invite you to connect with me on Instagram. And inside your Instagram account, I invite you to do an Instagram story by saying simply, I am a Tandem Nomads listener and I help. And then you explain what you do in your business. So share that story and then tag me, and I will also share you inside my story once you do that, so that my followers can also get to know you and connect with you as well. So just to repeat, make a video or a photo if you prefer, saying I am a Tandem Nomads listener. I help, for example, expat partners build their businesses. This is for me, for example. So think about your clients. Who is your type of clients and what do you do for them? And then just put that. And then if you want to take this to the next level and make sure that people do see you, I want you to do a quick video, 15-second max, showing me how do you celebrate. How do you celebrate? So just show us with a fun video. In my case, it's dancing. So I'll probably put a video of me dancing for 15 seconds. I'd love you to participate to this fun way and celebrate with me, as well as help me celebrate you. When you do this Insta stories, just make sure to tag @Tandem Nomads so that I can see it and then can share it so that people can as well get to know you. All right, let's see how it works. I'd love to connect with you. And also follow you and see what you're doing in your business. And among those of you who will share these Insta stories, I will be picking a person who will be a guest on this show, on Tandem Nomads podcast show. So make sure to share with me your Insta story and tag me inside Instagram before December 1st. So 2 giveaways and 2 gifts. The first one is to win a free marketing coaching session with me. And for that, simply email me and let me know what is your key takeaway of this podcast show and what have you learned most about it. And I will be picking the winner randomly before December 1st. And then the second one is on Instagram to help you increase your number of followers, get more exposure. Tag me in your Insta stories before December 1st, as explained before. I can't wait for this. I cannot wait to celebrate with you. Again, thank you so much for being part of this journey. I cannot wait to continue this adventure with you. I will share with you a little bit about how Tandem Nomad started and my 5 key lessons of the past 5 years. And honestly, these are things that I really hope that somebody had told me before, and I hope that you will be able to listen carefully to these. But before, I really want to share with you some of the important people that were part of my journey and that I'm so grateful, without whom I wouldn't have been going so far in this journey. So the first people who have been supporting Tandem Nomads are my friends and my family. I'm thinking about them. I remember when I started Tandem Nomads, I had no network. I had no access to this global expat community, and even my friends were not necessarily all expats, but even if they didn't know anything about what I wanted to do, didn't understand a thing about what I was talking about, they still were supporting me. So I really want to say a big thank you to my Circle 5 ladies, to Clara, to Camille, to Audrey, to Claire. Oh my God. I'm doing a big mistake by naming because I know that I'm forgetting some of you. So please bear with me. I love you all. You've been so amazing. I want to thank my parents who've been amazing support as well. And my early adopters, the first listeners of this podcast, but as well as the first supporters of Tandem Nomads, be it through listening, being through passing out the word, and also the media. I remember my first feature was Allison from the Global Living magazine. I was featured on that magazine. It was just a huge deal for me, so I'm so grateful for that. And it went all the way up to Forbes. I cannot believe that Forbes had featured Tandem Nomads and my story in their cover on women empowerment, and I'll be talking about that. I still tear up thinking about this. So really thankful for this. It means the world to me. Here is another big part that without which I don't think I would have found the courage to keep going and the energy to keep going and the motivation to believe that what I was doing was right if it was not for the FIGT, Families in Global Transition organization. So please pay attention if you don't know FIGT. Pause a second here and please check it out. FIGT is an NGO that stands for Families in Global Transition, and that was created 21 years ago or co-founded 21 years ago by the co-author of the book Third Culture Kids, Ruth Van Ricken. So I want to say a big thank you to Ruth for creating this organization, but also believing in me. And every single time Ruth has laid her eyes on me, she has been the most, sending me the most amazing energy of support and encouragement, telling me how much she believes in what I'm doing for the expat community. And this meant the world to me. Absolutely the world. But on top of it, she doesn't recognize it, but she has been creating such an amazing global community. And my first time going to an FIGT conference was as if a whole new world was opened for me. I went to my first FIGT conference in Amsterdam in 2016, and from the moment I set foot in that big conference room, the first second I realized that I have landed. I have landed home, a place where the people I was looking for were my like-minded people and this amazing community that I was lacking, and the reason why I started this podcast. I obviously would have never discovered about FIGT if I didn't start the Tandem Nomads podcast show. So if you are an expat, if you are a global nomad, you need to check out Families in Global Transition. It is the most caring, supportive, and rich of resourceful. I have met the most amazing expert in this community who have such a wealth of knowledge all about how to make the best of this global nomadic journey, starting from TCKs, global education, and self-development, mental health, career, dual career challenges, expats versus challenges. All the topics related to relocation are covered inside the Families in Global Transition, and I'm extremely proud of also the position that FIGT has strongly taken in the past month to support inclusivity and fight racism, even among the expat community. And this is a huge topic for me that I am really committed to, and I'm so proud of how this organization is also showing up in this level too. So check it out, and I wish I could just name each of you part of the Families in Global Transition family. You have changed my world, and I'm so grateful to have met each of you, and it's just like a second family now. So if you're looking to find those like-minded people, Join us inside Families in Global Transition. The next person that I will mention that is part of Family in Global Transition, because she has been such a huge part of the joy I've experienced in working. You know, it's not easy to be a solopreneur, and I've heard it from so many of you. It's so not easy to be on your own and be in your home in front of your laptop and trying to figure all this out, and missing having colleagues and having people to just talk about the business and exchange tips and even collaborate is something so precious. And I found that in one special woman who's Sunday Bean. Sunday Bean is an amazing coach. She's one of the best I've ever met, and a solution-oriented coach and intercultural specialist. And at the beginning when we met, it took a long time for us to get to know each other, understand each other. But from the moment we started realizing how important our common mission statement was and how much we believed in women empowerment and how we wanted to make a huge impact in this field together, it has been just an amazing way to also become more than just friends, and Sunday has been just an amazing part of my journey as well and brought me so much joy. We've developed a common course together called the Business Idea Accelerator, and it has been amazing to see the success stories that came out of this course together. So Sunday, if you're listening, I love you. I love you so much, and thank you for being part of this journey. I don't want to go any further without thanking my team, and there have been few people part of this journey, and especially one person who was in this journey early on, who's Lillian. If you're listening, Lillian, I'm thinking about you. Lillian has been one of the first people to help me in my business, to be able to focus on the business and support me. And she had to leave on maternity and decided to focus on her lovely daughter. And but I just wanted to say thank you for the first years together. And the team has grown since. There were a lot of people in and out, but since the past year or 2 years, the team has been very stable. And I really want to thank Angeline, who's been really crucial to helping me keep my sanity with all tech aspects. And a special thank you to Sarah. Sarah, if you're listening, and I know you are because you're the one managing everything behind this podcast show and helping me to put it out there. So thank you so much for caring. For simply caring. I know that you care for this and my business as it was your own, and this means the world to me. If you don't know Sarah, make sure to check out her link to her website. She has been an amazing support. She's a marketing also expert, and she's very much focused on NGOs and nonprofit companies, all with companies who have a strong social impact. So make sure to check out what she does. She's an amazing woman. So, Sarah, thank you again for everything you do. And I want to say a special thank you to one person in my team that is not visible and that is not paid, that I call my partner in crime. Michael, my husband from day one, who's been just the most amazing support. I would have never been able to do any of this without him. He's been the best cheerleader a woman could ever dream of. So, baby, if you're listening, thank you for everything. By the way, Nomad Nation, here's the extra little surprise. I decided to bring Michael to the forefront in the next episode, where he will be sharing his side of this adventure and his experience of being the working spouse and how was this experience for him to see me build this business, and how does it impact him, and how did he figure out the ways to support me as well, and what are his messages to all the other expat partners out there. But also we will be kind of lifting a little bit of the behind the scenes of what we had to work through to be able to make it work. And we will be as authentic as possible. We are very private people, but it's important as well to to share what it takes to make it work. So I look forward to that. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode. All right, I hope I'm going to get through these thank yous without breaking down every single time. But this one, again, is going to be very hard to not break down. Anyhow, it's all good stuff, right? So last but not least, I want to thank all my clients that gave me their trust and that allowed me to support them along their journey. I will not be able to mention each of you, but if you're listening, I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be part of your journey. I'm the luckiest person in the world to get to work with such amazing people and who only just simply want to make an impact in this world while making sure to grow their successful portable business. And that amount of generosity, of love, and that you put into your businesses just keeps me going every single day. And the fact that you put your business, your babies between my hands and allow me to support you along your journey just means the world to me. So thank you so much for allowing me to wake up every morning excited about what I'm doing and allowing me to make my big passion and mission with Tandem Nomads a business and be able to call it a business. It wouldn't be possible without my clients and without you trusting me by investing in me to support you. So thank you so much for inspiring me, and thank you so much for allowing me this journey with you. All right, so I took this time. Sorry if it was a little bit long, but it was so important. 5 years is a big round number, and it's so important to celebrate. And for me, celebration is so important. And one thing I can tell you completely honestly, and it's really hard to admit, but this episode has been really hard to record because there's been so much happening and good stuff, but also difficult things. And sometimes it's hard. It's so hard to focus on what's working, and we keep focusing on what we want to do next and how to focus next. And I just want to thank you for allowing me, and if you're still listening, for allowing me to share this with you, because I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for the purpose of hoping to as well celebrate with you and share with you what has helped me along my way. And one of them is celebrating and also being grateful for everything on my journey. So I've been spending a few hours trying to figure out what to do with this special episode. So I've been spending some time digging into all documents that I have drafted before I launched Tandem Nomads podcast, with the strategy, the market research, the business plan and all these things. And while I was going through all these documents, I just found a Word document, and honestly, I still don't know why I wrote that. And I know me, actually. I know that I tend sometimes to hide little notes from my future selves here and there. Sometimes it's a piece of paper, and sometimes it's a little object that I hide somewhere with a little message. And I think it might be one of those things that I have done to speak to my future self. And I think I'm just going to share it with you, what I wrote, and it was just 4 sentences. So basically, those are the 4, at the end, big lessons that I want to share with you. And it's crazy that they fit so well to actually what has been this journey about. The 5th one, I will add it from what I believe now, but these 4 things are what I wrote to myself to help me keep going along this journey when I started. And it was just 4 simple sentences. Let me read them to you. So the first lesson says, I can't believe that, accept the change. So first lesson is accept the change. It is so true. I had to change so much to be able to make this happen. And I had to not change who I am deep inside, but change my mindset and change to get out of my comfort zone and accept that certain things need to be thought and implement it differently than what I usually do. I needed to also change my habits. I needed to change my perception of myself and also learn how to believe in myself to be able to do that. So accepting that in order to get through this journey, we need to be willing to change and push ourselves out of our comfort zone is the number one thing that I believe every entrepreneur needs to do to be able to grow. So I can't believe how relevant this is. And one thing that I often say to my clients is that our businesses are not set in stone. Our businesses are like human beings. They're like little babies, and they're often a reflection of our thought process and our mindset. So we need to as well accept that business might as well change. And this is why the second lesson is important. The second one is build controllables. By that, what do I mean? There's so many things in this entrepreneurial journey that you cannot control. For the simple sake, just knowing if somebody is going to buy from you or not is something you actually don't control, no matter how good of a salesperson you are. You will never be able to control other people's minds unless you're trying to manipulate them. So the only way to actually have an authentic business is to build controllables of things you can control instead of trying to control things you can't control. And the first thing you can control is how you show up to yourself and your business. And for example, the first thing that I needed to do in my business was to look at my daily routines and how I wake up in the morning and what is the first thing I do. So I highly recommend you a book that has been so instrumental in my journey that's called The Miracle Morning. And this book really shows you how routines are really important, but also mindful routines are really important for you to turn your dreams into reality even when you don't have the time. So check it out, The Miracle Morning from Hal Elrod. I will be putting this in the list of resources as well with Sarah's information. So building controllables is important, and you cannot control your environment, but you can control how you handle it. And one of them is your routines and being very aware about how you're spending your time and energy, but also controlling your mindset, being the leader of your thoughts instead of letting everything overwhelm you and let external elements control your thoughts. And to be honest with you, this is the most difficult thing that I have to still work through. It's really not a done deal, trust me. But in order to be able to do the progress I could do in 5 years, that was probably the biggest thing I had to work with, was controlling the way I led my days, my calendar, my time, but also my attitude. So that's the only thing I can control. And I hope you can as well work on this and try to build yourself an army of resources around you to work around those things. And the first one is, as I said, this book called The Miracle Morning. The third lesson is, oh my God, this is true as well. I'm kind of reading it because I did not type it. I'm basically reading things that I wrote years ago, and I'm so impressed that it's almost like a prophecy or something like that. But this one is one that I really love. It's called Experiment and Adjust. And this is something that even in my day-to-day work with my clients, I need to remind myself as well. You know how I am all about step by step, and I love to give you templates and things that are made so that you just have to follow that and implement. That's the best way I found to help my clients and help you to get results. But there's something very important that I had to learn in my business, and also when I work with my clients, is to accept that the it's a game. We're here. It's a marathon. This entrepreneurial journey is not a sprint. First of all, you need to be in it for the long haul, but also understand that the things that work for one person, if you copy paste them for your business, it might not always work. So while there are some proven strategy that I teach, while you learn them and implement them, you need to also be willing to constantly keep your eyes and your ears open to adjust your business and adapt it to the circumstances of the market. These times, while I'm recording, we're still in the middle of a pandemic worldwide and still trying to figure this out. This is the perfect proof how we need to constantly be ready to adjust our businesses. My business, I know in 2021 is not going to look the same way as 2020 just because of that, and I need to reflect on that. That's one of the things that I know I will continue to work on in my business plans. Even before the pandemic, my business model has completely changed, and I also want to share that with you maybe later if I have some time. I don't want to take too much time how this happened. But you constantly need to experiment and adjust and learn from the best you know. Surround yourselves with the best resources. Try to implement as close as you can, but also leave some room to experiment and learn and give yourself some freedom to also adjust. And actually, I have a whole episode about that. That's called What Type of Entrepreneur You Are. I will also link it in the list of the resources to check so that you can also learn how to find that balance between implementing word for word versus letting some room for your own creativity and adjusting. But don't stick to just one thing. I think consistency is super important in a business, but while you try to be consistent, stay open to the market, keep listening, and be willing to innovate and adjust your business model and anything you do in your business to be able to keep growing. Because if you try to do everything all the time the same way, there's a big chance that you might not be listening to the market and what's happening around you. So the third lesson is experiment and adjust. The fourth lesson is experience and enjoy. So I wonder what I try to tell myself. It's not edited here. By experience. But when I think about it, I have the feeling that I was trying to tell myself to be in the moment. And I have to tell you, this is one thing that I still have to work on, is to be in the moment. And I'm always in the next step, always looking at what's in the next step. How can I improve? How can I improve? How can I improve? And it doesn't let me enjoy the moment. So I'm really grateful again for this episode because it helps me reflect on this, and I wouldn't do it without you. So again, thank you for that. So I think learning to be in the moment is super important, and enjoying the ride is so important. And for me, having fun is part of my values. And that's one thing though that I do really well in my business. I make sure to celebrate my clients all the time and have fun with them. I think I became kind of famous now for my Zoom parties among my clients who are in my online courses. And I do Zoom parties pretty often where we dance and listen to music and have a lot of fun. So that's one thing that I do because I need to. Our businesses is like our lives, like it's our babies. We do this all the time from morning until we end up in the afternoon or the evening. And if we don't enjoy it, if you don't have fun with it, what's the point, right? So it's really important, Nomad Nation, if you're in that situation, make sure to build ways for you to have fun along the way, because this is freaking hard, but it's also amazingly rewarding. But it can't be if you don't allow yourself to see how rewarding it is and how fun it can be despite the difficulties. I can truly tell you that I cannot imagine myself working for somebody again. The freedom I have now to have my own business is just amazing. Yes, of course, some days I want to throw the towel, and I don't know how many times I told to Michael, I'm quitting, I'm fed up. And then he will tell you, yeah, tell me this tomorrow. So, and the reason why I keep going is, first of all, because I remind myself my big why, which I will share it with you, but also that I really make sure to implement some fun things in the business with my clients as well. And also with you, my listeners, and on Instagram, etc. So experience and enjoy the fourth lesson. So these were the four things that were in my note, and honestly, it was just a blank paper with these 4 sentences and no explanation, nothing else. So I'm grateful to my old me for sharing these reminders for me and for you. And here is one more thing, the 5th lesson I want to share with you. When I had to reflect on my journey, that was, what is the one thing that I wish I could have changed, or that somebody told me to approach differently? And this is something that I want to scream on the roofs right now, because I see so many people still struggling with this, and it's a journey. Yes, it is a journey, but it's possible. And here's the final lesson that I had to learn along the way, and wouldn't have been able to be here if I didn't try this out, is to surpass, to overcome the fear of putting myself out there. I cannot tell you how scary, oh my God, I'm feeling it right now in my stomach. How scary it was for me to go out there and put my voice out there and even start doing videos, because I realized it was necessary. I cannot hide behind this podcast. I had to put pictures of me. I had to put videos of me out there. But also I had to learn to become more and more authentic and open, because I cannot make people trust me if I'm not myself, if I pretend something I'm not. And this was the hardest thing I had to do, but I started doing this a bit too late. And I want to invite you to push through. It is possible. It's freaking hard, but once you do it, it's possible. You might tell me, say that I have to accept to put myself out there and stop hiding. What should I do? Well, it's pretty simple. Just start putting yourself out there. That's as simple as that. Even if you don't want it, even if you don't like it, and even if you hate the way you look or anything. And one of the secrets for me is to go with one take. I never ever edit. Even my episodes, I rarely edit them. My videos, I only do one takes. It's very rare that I have to do another take, because I've said to myself, this is one take. There will be no re-recording, otherwise it's a vicious circle. So just jumping in the pool right away is for me the best way to recommend you to go ahead and put yourself out there. And speaking of hiding, so I have been trying to run this business at the beginning by hiding. And I don't know how I could think that was possible. So I will share with you in a little bit of the history behind Tandem Nomads and how it went from being a podcast to an actual business. But here's one thing. Tandem Nomads podcast show did not become a real business until 2 years down the road. I decided a year and a half after that to actually quit my other business and make Tandem Nomads a full-time business. But the reason why it took me so long was because I was just hesitating to put myself out there and afraid about what people would think about me. And I'm going to go one step deeper here, and here I'm going to really talk to my peers in the diplomatic field. I'm a diplomatic spouse, and this is this is an environment where it's a lot about making sure to do the right thing, showing up the right way, dressing up the right way, saying the right things, following the protocols, and I do believe in those things a lot. But the problem of that is that it creates a mindset where we always have to worry about what other people think. And it is time, Nomad Nation, no matter if you're a diplomatic spouse, an expat spouse, or no spouse, or just yourself, I'm sure that there is someone that you care about their opinion of you. It is time for you to stop caring about what other people think. Because if you keep thinking that way, you will never, ever do what you are meant to do in this world. I was always worried about 2 things. The first thing, actually 2 even more. I was worried about, first of all, my colleagues in the corporate world. I've been spending my whole life trying to hide that I was an expat spouse so that people see me for who I was and my expertise. And having a whole podcast that I needed to put out there to talk about the expat spouse's dual career issues was for me a way to kind of put this in the spotlight when I was trying to hide it for so many years. So that was a big issue. The second was the colleagues of my husband's, the diplomatic community. I was like, what are they going to think of me? Because putting yourself out there in this community is basically being, egocentric. Or there's also another set of challenges, which is this whole thing about the visa, about if you're allowed to work or not, if you have to pay your taxes or not, and this whole money mindset locks that we have in this community that's huge, that I needed to work on, and I still have to work on. And the third one, I have to admit it, I'm still not yet completely done with this one, is what would my family think about me? I have a huge family back in Algeria who live a completely different life, and I'm so worried that they might think that I'm like, I don't know, somebody they think I'm not. Anyhow, so it's another topic will take an hour to unfold, but so many people that are worried and care about what they think. I love their opinion. I love these people, but I cannot let anybody's opinion lead the way I decide to live my life and my business. And this has been a big fight, but it's only when I started to face it that things started shifting. And I really hope that you can as well work on this. And if you can't work on it alone, get the help you need. There's so many coaches out there. And if you still struggle with that, let me know and I'll figure out a way to help you. But I want you to really address this. Basically, my final message for you here is stop hiding. Stop hiding. Please stop hiding. Put yourself out there. Share your special gift with the world because we need it. We need it, Nomad Nation. I hope you hear my plea. Stop hiding. So these were the 5 lessons. And I don't want to take too much time, but just in case you've been here until the end, I might want to share with you real quick the history behind Tandem Nomads, because I realized that I don't necessarily talk about that or present it. I have to find a way for those of you who listen to this episode and are not used to me or just came or didn't know before about my story. So very short, I should have done this at the beginning, but here's the thing, I'm not editing like I said. So my career was in advertising. First of all, I'm the child of a diplomat couple and I've been raised on the move, and I am a third culture kid. I knew what it was to live on the move from the start, and I was ready to settle when I met my husband. I have built my career in advertising and I was not ready to move abroad. But then I met my husband and he was really good at convincing me to follow him and marry him. I knew that I would not be able to continue my career on the move. So from the start, I knew that the only way to do it was to start my business. So I started my business as a consultant in the corporate world. I was consulting companies in marketing strategies. And along this journey, I really had to figure this out on my own. I had no mentors, no coaches, things like that didn't even exist. And internet was not even a thing. On top of it, at the time, when I started, I was in Iran, where the internet connection was constantly blocked and social media was blocked. So I really had to figure this out. 6 years down the road, I started understanding some of the things that make a business portable, and I wanted to share it with the world, especially with expat spouses. But most importantly, one thing that had bugged me through this journey and made me so angry, and I was an angry woman for many years until I decided to do something about it, is the importance to empower women in our organizations and in our communities. It's amazing that we're in the 21st centuries and there's still women who feel stuck and don't feel free to make their own choices because they're financially dependent. And this is one thing that I couldn't bear. I just couldn't bear. And I had seen some really terrible marriages to just don't end or end very, very badly because the women, it's mainly women, is too dependent financially and cannot take the choice of leading the life she wants just because she cannot earn her own money. And this is where for me, it was important to do something. And this is why I said to myself, okay, I don't know what to do about it, but I'll just start a podcast and start sharing inspiring stories to share and tell to other women that it is possible. You don't have to give up on your journey. You don't then have to give up on your special talent. You can create your own career on the move. It is possible. This is a big thing for me that I still continue to work on. I'm so happy to see immense progress in the past 5 years. It's amazing the changes in just 5 years that I've seen in our community, and I see more and more women and expat spouses having their own businesses, and that for me is huge. So I will continue to fight for it. There's never enough progress in that field, but I am really happy to see a big change in that field. And the second thing for me that was really important was the sense of community. I felt like it was very difficult to find that community. And like I said, thanks to you, Nomad Nation, in this podcast, I have found my community, and I'm so grateful for that. And finally, the big message that I wanted to share through the Tandem Nomads podcast was one of my biggest passion is not marketing, but is the mindset of entrepreneurship, and how entrepreneurship for me is more just than about running a business. It's about turning the challenges we see in the world into great opportunities. And this is why I end every single one of my episodes with this quote: "This is my big why, helping all of you, no matter if you're an expat spouse or not, a woman or a man, help you turn your challenges into great opportunities by growing a successful business and helping other people as well along this journey." So this is what Tandem Nomads is all about. And this is what has pushed me to create Tandem Nomads. And as I said, the first 2 years, it was just a podcast. And then I decided, okay, now I have had the proof of concept. I can do this as a business, but I was really scared. I would never forget the day when I had to close my business and say no to one of the biggest clients I was dreaming to have. It was in 2017. And I remember I was so scared in that cab when I had to have that meeting to say no. But that was the best decision I've ever made. I have so much more to work on along the way to keep growing. But this has been just a beginning of a journey that I never expected to experience on a personal growth level. In terms of business, one of the barriers I had to work on was to accept to call myself a coach. That's another thing, maybe another whole episode. But I was really, and this is why I'm so grateful to my clients, my first clients who gave me the chance to get started and to see that I could help them. And so I've been doing one-on-one coaching for a long time. And then I've developed my first online course with Sunday Bean called the Business Idea Accelerator. And now I'm running right now the beta version of my second course called the Portable Business Accelerator that will launch in 2021. So on top of the one-on-one coaching, I'll now also provide all these online courses, and that's been amazing for me to be able to expand and grow and support more people, as I couldn't support enough one-on-one people through the one-on-one coaching. So this is a little bit of the background of Tandem Nomads and what I provide. And if by any chance you want to feel supported and have guidance along your journey and want me to work with you to help you grow your portable business, then make sure to reach out to me as well by email, connect@tandemnomads.com, and I will be happy to offer you a discovery session with me so that I can guide you with your questions and let you know about all the different ways we can work together. Again, the email is connect@tandemnomads.com. I also work with corporate companies and international organizations who have an important mission as well to helping the partners of their employees when they send them abroad. And it's been amazing to work with some of them. A special shout out to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Belgium. It's been what an amazing journey. Hildegard, if you're listening, thank you so much for this amazing experience of working together. So that's it. That's the story behind Tandem Nomads, the 5 lessons that I shared with you, and I hope that it inspires you in your journey as well. Thank you for listening, taking the time. It's been a long episode. I thought it would be shorter, but thank you for celebrating with me. And I want to celebrate you again. So make sure to email me with your key takeaways of the podcast, either this episode or the podcast show in general. Email me at connect@tandemnomads.com, and I will be selecting the key winners of a free coaching session with me. And then on Instagram, make sure to share your Insta stories as described before and tag me so that I can as well help you get a bit more exposure on Instagram as well. I can't wait to connect with you there. Thank you so much for listening, Nomad Nation. Thank you for everything you've been allowing me to do in my journey, and for your support and for being part of this important community for me. Thank you, Nomad Nation, and stay tuned to turn your challenges into great opportunities.